important move here on Bitcoin. We are seeing a big U-turn in the market. Initially, markets were falling. We saw quite a powerful 4-hourly down candle, 2.75% on Bitcoin earlier on Thursday. This was after some of the excitement was starting to wane around the Ethereum ETF. We also got some worries yesterday from the FOMC minutes, but now on Friday here, later in the day, we are starting to see markets bounce from a very important level. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what am I expecting from Bitcoin, what does that mean for altcoins, and a lot more. If you appreciate this type of content, smash up likes. Do not forget to subscribe again if you want to trade any of these moves, guys. I'm making altcoin trades as we speak. IjazCrypto.com/TG. Jump into our Telegram community. Guys, look at this 4-hourly candle here. This is a really big 4-hourly candle we are printing right now. We are attempting here on Bitcoin to close back above our 4-hourly EMA ribbon. You can see how we're trying to ride above it here. We nearly lost it, and we're trying to now bounce back above it. This is a very important trend to hold. If you're following me on X, you will know that I shared this earlier in the day this morning. I said we are in this important uptrend. We need to respond here. If we do not respond here, we could be correcting down to 65,000. Now, fortunately, whilst we did spend a little bit of time beneath, we're starting to get that bounce. We're starting to get that bounce from that white line. Let me show you guys here. Let's remove the EMA ribbon. We're starting to bounce from this trend, and that's a really good sign. Now, of course, doesn't mean we're out the woods. We still need a higher high, right? Bitcoin needs to go and touch us above 71 for us to keep this nice upward trend. Because remember, we're breaking out of a really important pattern here. This is the pattern we're breaking out from. And so if we want to go and achieve our price targets of 80, 90,000, it's important we continue in an upwards trend here. We don't want to start curling over. What we don't want to do is fail here, rotate over, start doing something like this, and end up losing steam on this move. Very important that we're able to keep up momentum. Now, what had initially sparked the concerns was yesterday in the FOMC minutes, there was some evidence to suggest that people were getting worried that inflation was still quite sticky, particularly the Fed members. And if they thought that the inflation rate was continuing to be quite stubborn, then chances of seeing a rate cut this year really started to diminish. Hold up! Do you want to learn how to trade? Then you need to jump into our Telegram community. Link is in the description. In our Telegram community, I share my altcoins. I share how I do my trade setups, how I do my stop losses and take profit, so you could learn to become a profitable trader. Check it out. Link is in the description. And it mainly started from what was being priced in September. September seems to be this FOMC meeting that the markets are using as a benchmark. So if we take a look here, you can see that the vast majority of the market in the next meeting, which is June the 12th, do not expect a rate cut. If we go on to the next one after that, which is in July, again, vast majority do not expect a rate cut. And now when you jump into September, which is previously where markets thought, okay, we may get a rate cut, they're now still unsure. Still the majority of the market expects us to still have not had a rate cut by September, which leaves the chance of us getting 3 cuts this year down to 0, right? Because after September's gone, you only have 2 meetings left. So even if you had a cut in November and a cut in December, the best you're then getting is 2 rate cuts. And so you can see here the market really expects the first rate cut to happen in November, and then they expect that in December, the majority of the market thinks we stay the same. So basically what we're saying here is that the market expects 1 rate cut this year, and they expect it to come into November. That is very different to what we had going into this year, which was hope and belief based on the FOMC and their projections that we would get 3 rate cuts this year. Okay, so inflation is proving tricky. That being said, the market has shown a little bit of resilience today, based primarily on the fact that Nvidia has been really strong on the AI and the chip front. So Nvidia, one of the biggest companies in the stock market, has just exploded through earnings. Really impressive growth from them as a company, and they're pretty much carrying this market right now. They're carrying this stock market and therefore the wider crypto markets as well, because we're still correlated. Whether we like it or not, we are reliant on the fact that risk remains on. So if I jump on over to the dollar index, you'll see exactly what I mean. This last couple of 4-hourly candles to the downside is why we're getting positive 4-hourly candles to the upside on Bitcoin. We are inversely correlated to this dollar index. Very important that we remember that. And so when we jump up to the daily chart, you can see big down day for the dollar index, a big risk off day on the later half of today here on Friday. But of course, the last few days it was rallying. So this is an important trend for us to watch. If I zoom up to the weekly, we're still in good picture here. Okay, so if you look at what's happened here on the dollar index, you can see that it created this high and then it's created a lower high. This is good. This is like a double top pattern, right? We can go boom, boom, and we need to send it down. We need to have more red weeks over the next kind of couple of months to really send this in this direction, and that can correlate with Bitcoin going in the opposite direction and heading towards 80,000 and 90,000, which are of course our price targets from the technical move. Now, overall, how am I feeling about the market? I'm still feeling positive. Yes, Bitcoin's got some work to do. But if you look at all the major structures, starting with this, the weekly chart, really strong, right? Sometimes when you had a couple of bad days, it's easy to be scared and worried that we're going to get a pullback. But look at the strength. Right? Last week, 7.8%. This week, 4%. It's looking good. Yes, we need to go get a higher high. I'm not disputing that. We have to get above that 73,800 level. Really important. Otherwise, we risk curling over. But as long as we can get that, once we wick above it, we're happy to come back down, higher low, and start trending ourselves in a nice upwards direction towards our price target. So that's what I'm looking for here on Bitcoin. Not super majorly concerned here on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, this is where we need to be a little bit more careful, right? We do not want to lose key support on our daily EMA ribbon. Now, yesterday's move to the downside did lead us to wicking down close to the EMA ribbon, but we didn't even need it, right? Good strength here from Bitcoin. So all in all, that pullback there is not a concern for me as long as we can push up and get back above this peak here, right? Really just push, create a higher high, come back down and continue to trend in the upwards direction, because that's normal, right? When you break out from a pattern like this, your price target is the top of the wedge, which here happens to be all-time highs at 73,800, okay? So that's what we need here on Bitcoin. Other things worth looking at is, of course, the altcoin market, right? You're seeing Ethereum kind of just calm down a little bit after yesterday's roller coaster. Don't be surprised, right? In yesterday's update, I said, guys, buy the rumor, sell the news. Pretty typical when you get something like an ETF announcement, but overall what we got yesterday was majorly bullish for Ethereum and really sets it up for maybe not immediately today, tomorrow, even the next day, but over time working back towards its all-time highs, working back towards 4,300 and then eventually 5,000 and more. I think Ethereum has a really bullish rest of the 2024. Other coins which you may want to start looking at are things which will move in solidarity, right? I mean, you look at something like Solana, whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you think, there's a lot of downtime on the network like I feel. The reality is things like Solana, things like XRP are now going to be, people are going to start speculating that they're going to get an ETF next, right? Just like how after the Bitcoin ETF, the narrative moved to will Ethereum get this ETF? Now we're going to see the same happen. People will start betting on the fact that will it be Solana next? Will it be Cardano? Will it be XRP? And you'll start to see movements happen based on that as well. Quick touch upon here on Phantom cooling off here on the daily chart into its EMA ribbon. Very important that it holds this level, right? Very important level here on Phantom. I mean, very crudely, if I was just to draw you a horizontal, you can see that this was the resistance. We're now retesting it as support. So very important that for Phantom, once it's broken through, it retests and it bounces. If it doesn't bounce, then it's just given up all of its gains that it had here, and that's not looking great on Phantom. So it's important it holds above its EMA ribbon, also bounces from the previous resistance and turn it into support, and then carry on its move back up towards those $1.20 levels, which we saw earlier in the year. Okay, so things are still setting up nicely here for Phantom. Also worth looking at are a few other projects. We are seeing Algorand here up 3%, but still below its EMA ribbon, right? Still not looking super bullish. It needs to get above its EMA ribbon. It spent way too much time below it here. Let's take a quick check-in on Avalanche as well. Again, needs to bounce from this EMA ribbon. They're all pretty much waiting for direction on Bitcoin, right? If you look at all the altcoin market, they want to see Bitcoin do this. If Bitcoin does that, they're all going to get its green light to bounce from its EMA ribbon as well. Again, guys, just a reminder, if you want to trade actively with me, we've taken some awesome trades in VIP. We're getting 10% to 15%, 20% spot on different trades. Definitely check them out, ijazcrypto.com/TG if you're interested in trading. Also, check out in the description the links to various exchanges which support this channel. Places like Bybit, Mexi, BitGet are platforms which I actively use to trade and would highly recommend that you check them out as well and give them a try for yourself. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.